Now let's launch a PowerShell console. You do that by going to Start, All Programs, Accessories, Windows PowerShell, and I'm going to launch the Windows PowerShell 64-bit. You see that it's quite similar to your command prompt window. The only difference is your command prompt console is black in color and this is blue in color. You can change the color of this console by right-clicking on the title bar, click Properties, and go to the Colors tab, and you have various colors to select from. You can also change the layout, basically the window size and the screen buffer size, just like you do it on your command prompt. And you can also change the font size, the font, and also the cursor size. For now, I'm just going to change the color to black and click OK. Now I'm going to launch another PowerShell window. And you can see that this is again launched in blue. Now that's the best thing about PowerShell. You can have multiple consoles and each console can have separate color, font size, font type, and cursor size, etc. independently to each other. Now these consoles are called shell, so I'm going to refer to these consoles or the window as shell going forward. For now I'm going to close the black console because I just like the blue one for some reason. And I'm also going to increase the font size a little bit for the purpose of this tutorial. So I'm going to set it to 16. And I'm also going to reduce the screen size a little bit. So if you see here, you got a horizontal scroll bar. This is because the screen buffer size is larger than the actual window size. So if you go to Properties, if you go to Layout, you can see that the screen buffer size, it allows 120 characters while the window size is only 98 characters. So you basically want to set this equal, the width. So I'm going to set this to 98. So now I have got rid of this horizontal scroll bar. Now let's start by typing some basic commands. You can use almost all the commands that you use on your command prompt on PowerShell as well. PowerShell understands that. So let's say if I want to list the folders under the current path, I just type dir, just like you type on a command prompt, and it'll list all the folders under the current path. If you're a Unix guy, you usually type ls instead of dir. You can type ls and PowerShell understands that. It gives the same results just like you type dir. How is this possible? How can a software work with two different commands? Well, in PowerShell they implemented a concept called alias. We will look into that in depth later, but just understand that alias is a nickname for a command. So basically it's ls, dir, all these are aliases for the actual command of PowerShell. These are not PowerShell native commands. PowerShell native commands look a little bit different, and I'm going to show you that. But this is called the alias. Now if I want to go up one level, I type cd space ... and it went up one level. You can also avoid the space and just type cd ... and it accepts the command. Now if I want to go into a specific folder, so I type dir, and let's say I want to go into this folder, test. I type cd test, and I can again type dir, and there's nothing in the test folder. So let's say I want to create a subfolder. I type md subfolder 1. So it created a subfolder called subfolder 1 inside c test. Now I can also use mkdir command for making the directory and type mkdir subfolder 2, and it created a folder called subfolder 2. If I type dir now, I can see both the subfolders. Now we spoke about various versions of PowerShell in the previous video, so let's find out what version or what release of PowerShell I have. In order to do that, I just type get-host, and I see that my version is 3.0. Now if I want to upgrade it to the next version, and definitely I do want to upgrade it to the next version, I can go ahead and download the Windows Management Framework and install it, and it gets upgraded to the next version. The current version which is under preview is Windows Management Framework 5.0, but it's still under preview, so I don't want to install that. I'll instead go for Windows Management Framework 4.0, which gives me PowerShell 4.0. So in the next video we are going to see how to install Windows Management Framework 4.0.